There we go. Hey, we couldn't pass up a chance to talk to a comedy legend. Of course, even if the name of his new series made us a little nervous. We did waffle on this one. Just because of the name of the show, we wanted to speak with Eugene Levy and his son because of their new series, and they're ridiculously funny. But that name, we actually postponed it the first time.
We did. We thought maybe we shouldn't do the interview, but then we thought, okay, it's Eugene Levy. Let's do it.
Right.
Let's do it. We'll just be very careful. Well, guess who got to do the interview?
Bingo.
Yeah. So in this pre-recorded interview, we stay very clear of the title. We never say it. He does. Here's Dan and Eugene Levy.
Yeah, the easy thing is to just go ahead and say it.
Okay, no. I'll let you say it. I gotta keep my job. Hey, Eugene, first of all, I just gotta tell you, there's a line you used in a movie, Bringing Down the House, with Queen Latifah that I use all the time, thanks to you. Can you imagine what that line is?
You got me straight tripping?
Boo. You got me straight tripping, boo.
You got me straight tripping, boo.
When you said that line,
Yeah. Well, it was such a great line, and you know, it was Queen Latifah who gave me the line. I had other lines that were scripted in that movie, and I looked at them and on the page, and I said, I don't know, this doesn't seem right to me. And I went up to her and I said, how does this read to you? And she said, I wouldn't say it. I said, well, what would you say? How would you say it? And she said, well, you know, you got me straight tripping, boo. And I couldn't write it down fast enough.
It was great.
So I would go to her every time we had a scene, and she gave me lines.
I love it. I love it. That's what I love about you, is you're not afraid to go there with humor. And first of all, you're doing that with this show that you are in. Daniel, what's it like to work with your dad? Is this the first time you've collaborated on a show like this show that you're in together?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it started just with a little idea that I had, and I thought that, you know, my dad's comedic world could
comedic genius,
could really help the idea, and we just started talking about this little idea about a wealthy family who lost their money, and one to another. And, you know, suddenly we're making a TV show, so it's been a trip.
It's really bizarre, and it's really surreal that, you know, we started this thing as a nice little project, and now it's true. We have, you know, we have shows on the air, and here we are doing, you know, satellite interviews, talking about it. It's just surreal. Well,
and you look so similar. First of all, I know, Daniel, you get that a lot. People say, you look so much like your dad, but I'm looking at you both, and it's uncanny. The glasses, the hair, the everything.
Well, to my defense, my dad did take my haircut at one point. We started the show, and there was just a slight shift in the way that your hair looked, and I would argue it looked similar to mine.
I'll
take it as a compliment, don't get me wrong. Oh, I see.
Father
I think you copied my hairstyle.
Oh, yes. Listen to you two.
Well,
it's the better hair.
I think we have a slight discrepancy on our hands.
That's how desperate I am.
Well, talk about that.
It's a prominent brow, ultimately. You take the eyebrows away, and it's two very different people.
I just kept saying I want to look like him, so I did everything I could.
Okay, so obviously working together, the show is funny. I love the premise. It's the rags to riches story, and you're a family, and you got to get through it together. There's the name. Do people chide you about the name of the show? Because it is so different.
Well, the name of the show, well, it is different, but it is a real name. It is a real family name, believe it or not. S-C-H-I-T-T is a legitimate family name.
All across the world.
Yeah, it's kind of
In fact, it comes from Ireland.
Yeah.
Oh, does it?
So, you know, there are people who unfortunately have this last name, and that also happens to be the last name of the mayor of the town, and his family's founded the town, and that's where the name comes from. So it's interesting. The more you get used to the show, the more you start watching it, the less the less provocative, I guess, the name becomes. But in actuality, it's a legitimate last name.
Yeah, and it is the name of the family that founded the town, and it's the only time we use the word is when we're talking about the family or when we're talking about the town.
Right. You don't use it in the show, right?
It's not a word we use other than that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
It's not a word you use in the show.
There are the occasional... No, there are the occasional bleeped words, but never that word.
You know, Eugene, who knew you'd be so provocative after all these years?
That was my middle name for years, provocative. That's how I live my life.
That's how you comb your hair.
That's how I live. I live on the edge. I'm always on the edge, Norma, always.
Eugene does live on the edge because at that point, he said the name of the show on the air. So we have carefully removed that part of the interview so as not to offend anyone. But again, he says it's the name of a family. It's the name of a town. They're just having fun with it. And very neat to interview him and his son. They were very fun together. Obviously, they have a great working relationship. Yeah, I mean, I can't, you know, you're working in comedy with your dad. But Eugene Levy, though, I mean, just great comedian.
Yeah, all of those movies, Best in Show. And
Waiting for Guffman, I mean, just...
I still have to see that one.
Yeah, which is one of my absolute favorites. Everybody dance.
There we go. She's a leader, a role model, a woman who has achieved success. Susan Acker, one of the Athena Award class of 2015 finalists. She's going to be joining us. We're really glad to have her. We're going to talk about her success and her message.